Hi everybody, it's Belinda from Belinda's Book Nook, and I'm here to do a Friday catch-up / November TBR. I am literally just coming back from picking up my son and still have a little bit of chills, so I'm going to take my jacket off as I get warmer. But I wanted to make sure I got this video in because this month, just like December, gets crazy busy, and I just don't know if I waited, would I get it done. So October was a good month, I think, of my reading. We'll do a quick little recap before I talk about what I want to read this month. And of course, this is Nonfiction November, and I like to participate in that. And initially I was going to do just one book, but I decided I was going to do all nonfiction. And I say that with a little asterisk because there's one book on there that is a historical fiction, but I'm counting it as a nonfiction because it's bringing up and teaching me about something I didn't know, and that I can go and look up more information on. So I'm considering that one. I'll talk to you about that when we get to it. So let me just do a quick recap of the books that I read for October before we get further on. Yeah, there it is. I have Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. Remember I talked to you guys about that. And I enjoyed it. I'm not even gonna, because if you watched, I think my last video I talked about the book. So I just wanted to make sure I clear it up before we move on. Kind of check out these before we check in some new books. And the next one is Jackal, a novel by Erin E. Adams with the little gorgeous cover. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to her next book. I think I said that's coming out in the spring or the summer, either late spring or summer. And then the next one is, well, let's go with this one, The 392 by Ashley Hickson Lovins. Now, I went to book club, and I said my piece about the things that I didn't like in there, that I was uncomfortable with. And then I listened. And that's the beauty of book clubs, because you listen and you can get other perspectives. You can learn things that you might not have thought. I think that this was a very well-written story in that he was able to, in a very small book, I think Dee Dee brought this up in our group, he developed all these different characters, the people that were on the bus. You had, I think, 2 chapters for each person, and he gave you a really good, you had an idea of who these people were in this 2 chapters for each. And I thought that was really a well done thing. Like I said, there was a character in here that I was very uncomfortable with his content, and I felt like it could do without it. But the group talked a little bit to me about that in terms of there's always that type of person, and they do make you feel uncomfortable. And so the debate was kind of whether it was gratuitous, some of the details that were in here or not. The group basically felt it wasn't. Myself and another person did not really like the stuff. I didn't feel comfortable reading it, even though I do know that there's always this kind of person that exists, right? And when you're on public transportation. But it was a clever way of, here's the thing that really, I think sealed the conversation for me, was that by putting them all on the bus, all these people from all different walks of life and different experiences, right? They were forced to confront, whether it be outright or internally, mostly internally, their biases and I'll say their biases, right, that they have. And the reason why I say that is because you can live in a bubble, right, in the way that you can avoid being in situations that you don't want to be in, right? But for all of these people that were taking the bus, and some of them had to take the bus, they didn't have another option or another way, it brought up, the opportunity to be able to explore these dynamics. So I really like that idea, because I was trying to think about how could you have done it in other settings in such a small book, right? And this is how you do it. You put them in basically this small bus, and they go through this experience together, and they have to kind of deal with their own issues. Not necessarily that they all dealt with them either, but you get to hear them. You get to hear all of the thoughts of what's going on with the people, and sometimes the vocalization of them. So for that, I did think it was a good book, but I always think, well, will I recommend it to somebody? Maybe. One more thing that I thought that was important that we talked about is that, when we talk about being an American and growing up here, what we think about other countries, and not knowing if there's similarities. This book brought to light, or highlighted, the xenophobia and racism that exists in England. So it's not like it was just something that's uniquely American. This is something that happens in other places, and I don't think that it's discussed that way. It's kind of like, well, that's an American problem. And so I thought that this is really great in that sense. So if I were to recommend it, it might be for somebody to understand that might not recognize that. And the clever way that he was able to, like I said, build up characters within just 2 chapters for each of them. I think it's, 2 chapters for each of them. And it actually, for the bus driver, it was only 1. So, but yeah, so there was that. And I don't want to talk too much about it. You just kind of have to read it. It's small, so you can form your own opinion. But I'll just say it's definitely explicit content in there that just makes your skin kind of curl. Okay. Enough said with that. Then the final book that I read, I did finish it, was Akata Witch by Nydia Okorafor. So I can officially say I have read one of her books, and that won't be the last. I know she's written a bunch of other different things. This is just one that I actually have. And I've had this for a long time now. And so I am glad that I got a chance to read it, and I enjoyed it. It was definitely, I guess it's considered like a YA novel, and the characters are very interesting. Towards probably about a third of the way in, I've snatched up the audio and read while it read to me, and I really enjoyed listening to the accents and all of the banter on the audio. So it was really, really good. So I was glad I read that one finally, because I've been saying I was going to read it and I just haven't gotten to it. So, I can feel the tickle getting ready to come up my throat as I'm talking to you. So, yeah. So those are the books that I read. 4, pretty impressive for me, because you know how it is. I 2, 3 maybe, but 4 is pretty good. So for November, actually, I don't. Hold on. Yeah, November, I have not put my calendar in here, or I have not done that yet. Okay. So I got to get that in there, because I've been trying, like I said, feverishly to get things done so that in December I can kind of do a little walk through this, and also just to be done with it so I can move on to my next one. I hate having stuff like my last year one. I have so many really pretty layouts in there that I've done and really enjoyed, and then all these blank pages in certain areas where I just didn't get back to stuff, and I just don't like that unfinished feeling. So I'm feeling pretty happy about where I am with this. I do still have some stuff to do. There will be some pages in here that are blank that I either DNF'd the book and couldn't take it out, didn't know what to put in that space, or I might put pictures or something. I don't know. I'll figure out what I'm going to do to give it to make it interesting. But I was pleased with this book. It did get a little, lotion-y look to it, but I'm okay. I'm okay with it. It's lived, it's used, it's a documentation of my thoughts of this reading journey for this year. So that's all that really matters. Okay, so let's move on to November, right? So November is Nonfiction November. And so let's start with the book that I'm reading for the book club, for Read So Lit Book Club, which I owned for a while now. And isn't it so great when you already own the book? So this is just like, yeah, I'm going to do it because I have it. And you've heard me, if you go way back and if you've been with me for a long time, you'll know that I've talked about this book a couple of occasions, but especially when I bought the book. And this one is The Yellow House by Sarah M. Broom. And this book is set in New Orleans, and she's talking about her family, It's a memoir kind of thing where it's just talking about her family and growing up in New Orleans and the it's Hurricane Katrina, and how, not even just with that, but just how basically people were displaced by different things that were done there, and how what her experience was growing up. I'll just leave it at that. But I do have this, so this one will definitely get read. I'm really nervous now because, like I said, this month is busy because we have the Thanksgiving holiday where we're going to be going to families for that to celebrate. So I won't get much reading done because I won't be home. When if I'm in my home, I can see some time here and there, but not. And then not this weekend. In 2 weeks, I'm going away with my some of my girlfriends for 4 days, and so I won't be able to do reading. I might try to read in the morning a little bit, but so I need to like hunker, because in the following week after that will be Thanksgiving, and then I will be in doo-doo, because then I'm not gonna be able to. And so I really want to try to get through this. So I'm saying that the list that I'm going to present to you guys is what I would love to read in a perfect world. The reality is I will get at least one book done, and I would like to get 2 done out of this list. If I could get them all done, I would, but I know that it's just not, the time isn't there. I've already, even today was just a good example of just things throwing me off my schedule. And so I was like, oh my God, here we go. So this one I definitely want to get read. So I have that one. Then I was listening to something, and they were interviewing Erin Brockovich. I don't know if you all are familiar with her. I think most people are, or many people are, I should say. I shouldn't say most. That's presumptuous. But there was a movie a while back, a long time ago, that Julia Roberts played her in the movie. And it was kind of her, her thrust into the spotlight while she was fighting for the rights of, I want to say, the people in the town that she lives in, or maybe it was a town over. But the movie, if you've never seen it, it was really good. And I'm actually going to watch it again with my son, because I thought it was really powerful, because it made me motivated, and that you're one voice, and you can make a difference, and you can do things to make change. And she didn't have a law degree, but she fought these big corporations, and they ended up winning. But it was definitely not an easy battle. So if you have free time, the movie is really motivating. Well, fast forward to now, and I think in 2020 she wrote a book. She's now a lawyer. She wrote a book in 2020. It was released in 2020, sorry. And this one is called Superman's Not Coming, Our National Water Crisis and What We the People Can Do About It. And I'm telling you, that line really just got me. What we the people can do about it. So I want to read it to find out what she's suggesting, because these are one of the things I talk to my kids about, and I try not to freak them out, but I'm always like, stop, wasting water. Like, if you have a bottle of water, finish your water, because you just don't know when there'll be a time, possibly in the future, in the near future, where water becomes so scarce that will just not be something we can do. And you don't want to do that when there's so many people that don't have clean water in this country and around the globe. So I am really curious about this one. It is, though, a chunker. It's, let's see, I'll tell you how many pages it is. Keto. Chunkers for me is like anything, right? But usually like 400 pages. So this isn't like 400. This one, though, it's 308, but it's very tiny writing. So to me, this would be big. And it's got pictures and stuff in here. And so I'm going to read a little bit of what it says here. And then I'm going to tell you about the other books, because I know I'm taking a long time. From the environmental activist, consumer advocate, renowned crusader, and champion fighter, whose courageous case against Pacific Gas and Electric, was dramatized in the Oscar-winning film, a book to inspire change that looks at our present situation with water and reveals the imminent threats to our most precious essential element, as it shows us how, in large and practical ways, we can each take action to make changes in our cities, our towns, and our villages before it's too late. In Erin Brockovich's long-awaited book, her first to reckon with conditions on our planet, she makes clear why we are in the trouble we're in and warns us if we are waiting for someone to save us, Superman isn't coming, nor is the government or the environmental agencies. No one is going to solve this for us. It is up to us, we the people, and Brockovich shows us how. So I'll stop there because it goes on more, but it sounds so good. I got this out of the library, so I probably will be holding it a little longer than I need to, but I'm really looking forward to this. Now, one thing I know is it's going to be a slower read because it's going to be some things I'm sure are going to be, it's not going to be, it will be dry because it will be very scientific, right? But I'm here for that. So I will let you know if this doesn't get finished this month, then I will try to let you know when I do finish it, and I will talk about it because I think it's really important for all of us to address this issue. So there's that. Then this is the one that I'm talking about that I said is a nonfiction, but it's historical fiction, but I'm going to count it because I've never, oftentimes there's a lot of stories that and things I've learned through fiction, particularly historical fiction, that has allowed me to go do the research. Sometimes it's because we are able to actually get all of the information, specifically when we're talking about Black history. So we have to piece together things and then recreate stuff. So then it becomes a historical fiction novel as opposed to a nonfiction. So this book is written, and it's called Women of the Post. I told you guys about it when I got it, and I was excited. And it's by Jacinda Sanders. And it's 1944 New York City. Judy Washington is tired of having to work at the Bronx slave market, cleaning white women's houses for next to nothing. She dreams of a bigger life, but with her husband fighting overseas, it's up to her and her mother to earn enough for food and rent. When she's recruited to join the Women's Army Corps, offering a steady paycheck and the chance to see the world, Judy jumps at the opportunity. During training, Judy becomes fast friends with other women in her unit, Stacy, Bernadette, and Mary Alice, who all come from different cities and circumstances. Under Second Officer Charity Adams' leadership, they receive orders to sort out 1 million pieces of mail in England, becoming the only unit of Black women to serve overseas during World War II. The women work diligently, knowing, this is Friday, this is my Friday talk, knowing that they're reuniting soldiers with their loved ones through their letters. However, their work becomes personal when Mary Alice discovers a backlog letter addressed to Judy. Told through the alternating perspectives of Judy, Charity, and Mary Alice. I like that. Women of the Post is an unforgettable story of perseverance, female friendship, I'm here for that, and self-discovery. What sounds so good, right? I think it's going to be great, and it'll probably read faster because it is a historical fiction, but it will also make me look up stuff. So I'm excited about that. So there's that. This one I got 2 years ago at the Boston Book Festival. Sadly, I didn't go this year because I just was turned off by the lineup. And so but I did get this one, and I keep looking at it, and I had it in my cart, and I thought the beautiful cover was going to make me come over here and do it, and it just haven't. And this one is Viral Justice, How We Grow the World We Want by Ruha Benjamin. And this one is how we can, let me see, how can I tell you this? Okay, I'll read the first paragraph because I know I'm taking up too much time. Long before the pandemic, Ruha Benjamin was doing groundbreaking research on race, technology, justice, focusing on big structural changes. But the twin plagues of COVID-19 and anti-Black police violence inspired her to rethink the importance of small individual actions. Part memoir, part manifesto, Viral Justice is a sweeping and deeply personal exploration of how we can transform society through the choices we make every day. I'm gonna leave it like that, and that's almost like a teaser, right? Wow. But this one I've had, like I said, now for a year. But I don't think I will finish it. I'll be honest. I probably won't even get to it. But I just wanted to raise it in case somebody else wants to read it. And I am going to eventually get to this book. I would love it to happen this month. But the reality is I'm working with about 2.5 weeks time to be able to read stuff. And so with that said, I know this won't get happen because it's small writing. And it's about, let me see, I'll tell you. Oh, wait. It's still small writing, though. I don't care. I think it's like 300 pages, like 284. But it's really tiny writing. And so to me, that's still a lot more than that, you know. So there's that. And another option, if I'm like, you know, feeling like I need something that's different, something that's been on my shelf for a while and I want to read it, is Sinoke, Miss Mang, and I think that's how you name the author. And the name of the book is Always Another Country. It's such a beautiful cover, and I love the blue. The blue on this just makes me happy. It's such a pretty shade. This one is a memoir of exile and home. Born in exile to a South African guerrilla father and a working mother, Sisonke, I think that's how you say Sisonke. Misam, I don't know how you say it. Miss Mang is constantly on the move from Zambia to Kenya to Canada and beyond. Always the outsider, she develops a keenly perceptive view of the world in the sparkling account of a young girl's path to womanhood. She interweaves her personal story, with her political awakening in America and Africa, her euphoria at returning to the new South Africa, and her disillusionment with the new elites. Always Another Country is searching for belonging and identity, a warm and intimate story, and a testament to sisterhood and family bonds. This one I really wanted to read a while back when I got it, but just haven't. Like, look at this gorgeous picture of her here too. Oh my God, black and white, so beautiful. So will I get to it? Probably not. But I wanted to put a list of things what the options are. I'm not afraid to show that I'm not going to be able to read them all. But if it was a perfect world and I had 6 weeks for a month, without all the other stuff that's going on, I could do this. But I really probably won't be able to. But this is one that eventually one day I'm going to be able to get to, and I hope so soon. Now, one last final book, because if that isn't enough, you know, I had to find one more option. And this one came across because I actually heard about it on, I think, NPR. I don't even have it yet because I went and rushed to put it on hold at the library to see if I could get it this month, and I am number one in the position. There's 6 copies, and so we'll see if I get it in another week or so. And if I do, and it's good, and I'm really into it, I'll hold it, and I might even read a little bit into December. Like I told you, December is supposed to be off limits for reading for me because I just don't feel like the stress of it during the holidays. I just want to kind of focus on family fun and all that. So we'll see. So I put it on hold. So if it comes, I will show it to you guys too. But it's called Art. Let me see. Can I make this? Oh, my internet's so slow. It is called, why did I even click it? Why? Oh, here we go. Our Secret Society, Molly Moon and the Glamour, Money, and Power Behind the Civil Rights Movement by Tanisha C. Ford. And this is the cover of it. I'm going to drop it. Now we can see it. And so, wait a minute. And let me just read a little description here. It sounds so good. It says, and somebody please read this because it sounds good to me. An engrossing social history of the unsinkable Molly Moon, the stylish founder of the National Urban League Guild and fundraiser extraordinaire, who reigned over the glittering Beaux Arts Ball, the social event of New York and Harlem society for 50 years, a glamorous event rivaling today's Met Gala, drawing America's wealth and culture in both black and white. Our Secret Society brilliantly illuminates a little-known yet highly significant aspect of the civil rights movement that has been long overlooked. The powerhouse fundraising efforts that supported the movement, the luncheons, galas, cabarets, and traveling exhibitions attended by middle-class and working-class black families, the Negro press, and titans of industry, including Winthrop Rockefeller. No one knew this world better or ruled over it with more authority than Molly Moon. With her husband, Henry Lee Moon, the longtime publicist of the NAACP, Molly became half of one of the most influential couples of the period. And it goes on. And it just sounds so good. My only thing is, I hope it's not, like, sometimes people take this and they present it so dry that you just start reading and you're like, oh gosh, I can't, it's like a textbook. I hope that she doesn't do that. I hope that she puts, livens the information, because it sounds like something that we should all be aware of. There just seems like every time you turn around, there's just one more thing you didn't know, specifically too about the civil rights movement, or another person that was key to the movement, but you didn't hear about them because our textbooks only talk about 1, 2, or 3 people. And so I think it's really, really great to be able to read something. So that's another book that's coming in. But in the interim, I've already started the Yellow House. I want to start peeking into this one. These are the 3 right now that are just like floating to the top right now of the ones that I have so far. They're just speaking to me. So I'm going to see what I can do, and hopefully I can come back with something good. Let me know if you're doing any Nonfiction November, what you're reading. Let me know if there's any recommendations. Let me know if you've read any of these books. Like I said, this one's new. You should get it. This one is 2020. This one I just talked to you about is brand new as well. This one just came out October 24th, hence why I was getting it from the library. And if I really like it, I will, get a copy for myself. But I like to sometimes save when I can. So that's it. I know that I've gone way over the time, so I'm going to stop talking now. I'm zipping it. The weather's freezing. Well, it's a little better today. I have one funny thing I have to tell you. Oh my goodness, I don't know how long I've been talking. Okay, so Halloween, we had we have got candy for trick-or-treaters, and I have this big bowl that I always like to put the candy in. So last year, my husband and I, we have a lot of stairs to get to our house. So sometimes kids, like nowadays, they don't want to go up all the stairs. And I don't want to buy all this candy and the kids don't come. So we would sit on the first landing, and then we would, greet the kids and, trick or treat and happy Halloween and blah, blah, blah. And it was fun because, we would try to guess the costumes. It was all great. And so my husband was working late. And so it was so cold here. It was like really, really cold. And I was like, I know the parents, the little kids are going to come out early because they don't want to be outside with their kids in this cold. And so I go to sit out there by myself. So a couple come, kids come, and I'm like, talking to them. And then I'm looking and looking and looking and looking. Nobody's coming. I'm like, I'm cold. I'm really cold. So my husband was like, just come inside. And we don't have a ring, but we have a camera that's attached to the light on our front porch. So he turns it on, and I had the iPad on the table so I could see. So we set the bowl out there, and it was great watching some little kids come, and they get their candy, and they talk to their mom, and they go downstairs or blah. And then this teenage boy comes up, and he's got a bag that he uses for his trick-or-treat, and he grabs the little candy, and then my husband and I, at the very same time, we see the wheels turning. And what does he do? He goes like this action. He swings around, and he's got, what do you call this? Like courier bags, right? And as he's taking it off the loop off, he goes and he puts it down on the steps, and he's lining the edge of it with the steps. I booked it out there so fast. By the time I get out there, he had dumped all of the candy into his little carrier bag. And I was like, I just lost it. I was like, put it back. I'm like, you put it back. And so I go, I can't believe you did that. So he throws it, most of it. He still had some in his bag that was still there. But I said to him, I go, what about all the other kids that are coming? You don't worry about all these little kids that are coming to get candy and you're going to take it off for yourself. He just hustled on and left. And my husband was just laughing. He was in the house like watching the whole thing. Because he had just gotten off. So he was just sitting there. But he's like, I thought I would have to come outside. And I was like, unbelievable. I mean, I know kids will do that sometimes. And that's one of the reasons why we had the camera on too. But I just haven't had it done to us. And so it was just so funny. Because like at the same time, my husband and I, we both could see, like, he grabbed a few. And then he kind of like, I don't know if because he didn't see a ring, he thought he was going to get it. So I'm kind of glad we have that on the camera, because the rings, you can see those little cameras. You don't see this when it's up in the light. And so, so that was my drama story. Let me know if you had any crazy stories. Did you have trick-or-treaters or not? We still have candy left, even though I did get the candy back from him and some of the people came, but we still have leftover candy that I have to see if I can do the donation for the troops or something like that. But anyway, have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you guys next week.